Sheikh Gumi has made a shocking allegation that is sending waves across Nigeria right now. The prominent Islamic cleric from Kaduna claims he received a phone call from a top government official in Abuja, warning him that his name is on a list of people marked by the United States for elimination through airstrikes as part of Boko Haram. But let me tell you why this allegation is causing such a massive stir across the country right now. According to the statement circulating on social media, Sheikh Gumi says a top official from Abuja contacted him specifically to inform him that he is among those targeted by the United States military as part of their operations against Boko Haram and other terrorist groups in Nigeria. In his statement, he is calling on northern leaders and clerics to speak up against what he describes as lies and false accusations. He is essentially saying that he is being wrongly labeled as a terrorist or someone connected to Boko Haram, and that this could potentially put his life in danger if the United States decides to carry out airstrikes based on faulty intelligence. This is a serious accusation, and if true, it raises very disturbing questions about how the Nigerian government and the United States are identifying targets in their joint military operations against terrorism in the country. To understand why this matters so much, you need to know what has been happening in Nigeria over the past few weeks. On Christmas Day 2025, the United States military launched devastating airstrikes on terrorist camps in Sokoto State in northwest Nigeria. President Donald Trump announced that American forces had conducted what he called deadly and powerful strikes against Islamic State militants who were killing Christians in northern Nigeria. The Nigerian government confirmed it had approved these operations and that they were working closely with the United States to share intelligence and coordinate military action against terrorist groups that have been terrorizing communities across the north. The airstrikes targeted Islamic State Sahel Province and Islamic State West Africa Province, two extremely dangerous groups that have been responsible for thousands of deaths, kidnappings, and the destruction of entire villages over the years. The military operation was massive. The United States Navy ship USS Paul Ignatius fired over a dozen Tomahawk missiles at terrorist camps in the Bauni Forest area of Tangaza local government in Sokoto State. Military drones known as MQ-9 Reapers also fired 16 additional weapons at terrorists trying to cross into Nigeria from the Sahel region. American officials said the strikes were necessary to protect Christians who have been victims of brutal attacks by extremist groups. Just weeks before the airstrikes, terrorists had attacked a Catholic church and killed 2 people. Over 300 school children and 12 teachers were kidnapped from a Catholic school, and another 25 schoolgirls were abducted from another Catholic school in Kebbi State. Now here is where Sheikh Gumi comes into the picture and why his latest allegation is so explosive. Sheikh Gumi is one of the most controversial figures in northern Nigeria. He is a former military medical doctor who became an Islamic scholar, and over the years he has taken a very different approach to dealing with the banditry and terrorism crisis in the north. Instead of supporting military operations against armed groups, he has repeatedly advocated for dialogue and negotiation with bandits and terrorists. He has personally visited bandit camps deep in the forests of Zamfara, Kaduna, and other states, accompanied by police and government officials to speak directly with these criminals and encourage them to surrender their weapons. Many Nigerians have serious problems with Sheikh Gumi's approach. Critics say he is too sympathetic to terrorists and bandits, and some people openly accuse him of acting like a spokesman for these violent criminals. His supporters argue that he is simply trying to find peaceful solutions to reduce violence and that some armed men have actually surrendered because of his intervention. In fact, just recently, several false claims about Sheikh Gumi spread like wildfire on social media. Some posts falsely claimed that the United States airstrikes had destroyed his house in Kaduna. Other false reports said he had been killed in an airstrike. Sheikh Gumi took legal action against people spreading lies, filing criminal complaints in court for defamation. So when Sheikh Gumi now comes out and says he received a phone call from a top official in Abuja telling him he is marked for elimination by the United States as part of Boko Haram, you can imagine the chaos this is causing. If this phone call actually happened, it raises serious questions. Who is this top official in Abuja? Why would they warn Sheikh Gumi instead of arresting him if he was truly connected to Boko Haram? Is the Nigerian government providing the United States with accurate intelligence, or are innocent people being wrongly targeted? And most importantly, is Sheikh Gumi telling the truth about receiving this phone call, or is this another case of misinformation in a situation that is already extremely tense? Let me pause here for a moment, because if you are enjoying this breakdown of what is happening and you want to stay updated on stories like this that affect all of us as Nigerians, please take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss important updates like this one. Sheikh Gumi is calling on northern leaders and Islamic clerics to speak up against what he calls lies. He wants them to publicly defend him and other northerners who he believes are being falsely accused of terrorism. The timing of this allegation is also very important. Right now, there is intense debate across Nigeria about whether the government should have allowed the United States to conduct military operations on Nigerian soil. Some people say it was necessary because our own military has been struggling to defeat Boko Haram and other terrorist groups for over 15 years. Other Nigerians are completely against foreign military intervention. They see it as a violation of Nigerian sovereignty and worry that the United States might have its own agenda beyond just fighting terrorism. Sheikh Gumi has been very vocal in opposing the US airstrikes. Shortly after the Christmas Day operation, he gave interviews condemning the action and calling on the Nigerian government to halt all military cooperation with the United States. He argued that the airstrikes would not solve the terrorism problem and might actually make things worse by killing innocent civilians. His critics responded by saying you cannot negotiate with people who kidnap school children, burn villages, and slaughter innocent families. The question everyone is asking now is whether Sheikh Gumi is genuinely concerned about innocent people being wrongly targeted, or whether he has reasons to worry because of his own connections to armed groups. Some Nigerians point to his frequent visits to bandit camps and his public defense of these criminals as evidence that he might know more than he is saying. Others defend him and say that trying to make peace with armed groups does not make you a terrorist yourself. The truth is that we simply do not have enough verified information yet to make a judgment about whether this phone call actually happened. If Sheikh Gumi's allegation about being marked for elimination turns out to be true, it would suggest that the intelligence sharing between Nigeria and the United States might not be as reliable as both governments claim, and that innocent people could potentially be targeted based on false or incomplete information. Either way, this story is far from over, and we are likely to see more developments in the coming days as people investigate whether this phone call actually happened and what it means for the ongoing military operations in northern Nigeria. Make sure you stay tuned to this channel because we will be following this story closely and bringing you updates as more information becomes available. Before we wrap up, let me ask you this question because I really want to know what you think. Do you believe Sheikh Gumi is telling the truth about receiving a phone call warning him he is marked for elimination? Should northern leaders speak up in his defense as he is asking them to do, or should they wait for more evidence before taking sides? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below because this is a conversation that Nigeria needs to have. Also, do not forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already and turn on your notification bell so you get alerted whenever we post new videos about important stories affecting Nigeria. Share this video with your friends and family so more people can stay informed about what is really happening in our country. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.